Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our regular school board Tuesday, July 16th meeting. We will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and also a moment of silence.
Flags back there.
Flag is in the back. Go ahead.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Freedom of Information Statement, Ms. Stacy. The meeting was posted in all the right places. Thank you so much. Our first order of business is to approve our agenda. And tonight our agenda includes approval of minutes from June 18th and June 26th, correspondence, public forum. MB Khan is here to report tonight. Finance, Ms. Hutto. Human Resources, Dr. Saunders. Facilities and Operations, Mr. Martin. And our superintendent will give his report, Mr. Jeffrey Beckwith, and then the board will go in executive session. So at this time, we do need a motion to approve our agenda.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Okay, we have a motion made by Ms. Enfinger, seconded by Dr. Hodges. Are there any questions? All in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Approval of minutes of June 18th, 2024, and board members, they were in your packet. If we can get a motion to approve those.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve the June 18th, 2024 minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Motion has been made by Ms. Enfinger, seconded by Dr. Hodges. Are there any questions, comments? All in favor, please raise your right hand. On June the 26th, we had a special board meeting. We need a motion also to approve this.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve the June 26th minutes.
Dr. Hodges, did you?
We did that one, the 26th.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Hodges. Motion has been made by Ms. Enfinger, seconded by Dr. Hodges, to approve the June 26 minutes. Are there any questions, comments? All in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Ms. Smoke, do we have any correspondence? Do we have anybody public forum? Okay. Next up is MB Khan. Ms. Kelly?
Good evening, Madam Chair.
Good evening.
My name is Kelly Wyatt, project manager with Emicon Construction, and this is Ross Hilton. Here to give you an update on the Woodland Middle School project. We did have our OSF inspection last Tuesday. We did pass many of the items. The one that we did not, we encountered an issue with the water flow in the fire riser room. We've been working around the clock to get this figured out. We have identified it as of today. It is being repaired tomorrow. All paperwork is submitted to the architect and being uploaded to the OSF portal. Once we get this correction made tomorrow, it will be tested and we will provide everything, finalization of that to the architect. And I'm hopeful to have our CO by Friday. Anticipation will be no later than Monday.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. Any questions, board members? Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. Good evening.
Kelly said. And, I had sent a letter to Mr. Beckwith, myself, and Mr. Graham, authored and I signed, outlining some costs, things that we talked about in monthly meetings, and request for some additional funds for the school. If y'all have had a chance to look at it, answer questions, concerns that you have. This is the way that we have worked the other four jobs in town. Give money back for the other four jobs. This particular one, this middle school was run over, but Kennedy Road and Highway 17 additions and lighting.
Board members, do you have any questions?
Not at this time.
Mr. Tilton, we don't have any questions at this time, and I think the superintendent's going to address the board a little later about this. He mentioned this to us, and we are going to discuss it a little bit later. So if we do have any questions, we'll have him reach out to you.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. And thank y'all for coming tonight. Up next is Ms. Hutto with Finance. Hey, good evening.
Fine, thank you.
Y'all had the board report in your board packet.
Mhm.
Board members, in your board packet is the finance report. If you have any questions. Very well put together. Thank you, Ms. Hutto, and your team. Any questions, board members?
That's good.
Okay, looks great. Thank you.
At this time, I will be presenting an amended budget for the FY 25 school year. It's a little earlier in the year to be doing this, but our special education program had some positions that weren't filled last year, and this year they need to be filled. And she wasn't aware of that when we went through the original budget process.
Okay.
So, I put a
Mhm.
copy of this in your board report. I'm happy to go through the slides if y'all need me to. But basically, it's just to hire those teachers to fill those vacancies
Okay.
that we have.
So the first page that you have, Ms. Hutto, the total of everything on there, which line has changed?
The local,
The local?
it's an increase of $600,635.
Okay. See it. Okay.
And if you flip to the second page, you'll see, where we
Breakdown.
increased the fee and lieu
Mm-hmm.
and interest on investments
Mm-hmm.
to cover the cost of the increase.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then on the, third page, you'll see the increase where the next, I'm sorry. The next one, please.
Which one?
It's the budget summary expenditures by object type.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see the increase
Right
in the
here.
salary fringe
Mm-hmm.
that makes up that $600,635.
I see that.
And this is an action item, so I would.
Okay. And the last page, next to the last page is questions, but the next to the last, I see that you're back to a balanced budget.
Yes, ma'am.
That's great. That is wonderful. Okay. Board members, this is an updated budget. If you remember at the time of our last budget, there were things that were not in yet, and it was sort of a proposed at that time. So at this time, we do need to approve this as a working budget for our 2024-25 school year.
Need a motion then?
Yes.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve this budget at this time.
Okay.
Second?
Motion has been made by Ms. Enfinger, seconded by Dr. Hodges. Are there any further questions? All in favor, please raise your right hand. It has been approved. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, Human Resources, Dr. Sanders. Good afternoon.
Tonight, I will bring forth the first reading of multiple policies. In your packet, you will find the following. Policy BBBD, board member removal of office. This
Any questions, board members?
So this is the first reading of two, right?
And remember, board members, we're going down to 2 readings, so next month, we will, these will go into policy, okay? So be sure to take them home and read them over real good. We may have to get an extra cup of coffee for that second one. Just listening to you read it, and I'm reading behind you, it was a little complicated, so. No, you did great. It wasn't you, it was all the BGs and the BDs. Thank you, Dr. Saunders. But they will need to go into our policy next month for the second reading. Next up, Facilities and Operations, Mr. Martin.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Martin?
Provide a snapshot of what we have going on in facilities and operations this summer. As we're getting closer and closer to the new year, the student moving team has been awesome. Getting accolades from a lot of folks, some of the hardest working kids I've seen under the expert tutelage of Coach Elsie Harrison. They've been assisting. So we had a meeting with OSF. I got permission to move stuff into the new building before we occupy it, so we can get moving the teachers' belonging in boxes in, which has been great while we still have this moving team on board. We have owner training scheduled, ongoing scheduled. I received 3 more invitations today. We had a 3-hour session to go over the new building automation system, which has improved graphics and gives our technicians a lot more information to troubleshoot with our HVAC system, which will also save a lot of energy there. So that went well, and we've got gym floor training, food service training, scoreboard training, and so on. The facilities condition assessment team wrapped up doing their school walkthroughs. They're now working behind the scenes to build out our condition assessments on our assets and also our planned maintenance program. So I look forward to showing you all that when it's completed. We'll be meeting with Dominion Energy to look at some energy rebates that projects I'm working on, and also be filling out the state offers a mini grant for up to $25,000, so maybe in conjunction with that, we can get a rebate and qualify for that. So that's something I'm going for right now. We got a meeting to discuss upgrading our bus camera system, which I think is huge right now. Because even though we have good cameras, there's a lot better cameras out. Technology changes
Yes.
every years, so we want to stay current on that. And included in the report, as always, is summer work project updates, capital updates, and also a work order summary dashboard at the end. That's just one little snapshot of what we're going on. I could talk for days, but. Any questions?
Any questions, board members?
I do, is there a schedule when those training things are, we
Yeah,
might,
we get
if we wanted to
invites
learn
from
anything?
NBCon.
If we wanted to learn anything, could we come, or?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I just
It goes
wondered.
over like manufacturer training on how to operate the scoreboard, do's and don'ts, food service equipment, how to operate the brand new equipment, but yeah.
I just wondered. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Mr. Martin, you're doing a great job keeping up with all of this and inputting in your database. I tell you, you've done a remarkable job. Well, it shows, and thank you so much. Next up is Superintendent Report. Mr. Beckwith.
Thank you very much. First item on the agenda is the athletics report. Coach Seibert is going to present real quick on these 2 things.
There he is.
But I will say, he's running back and forth. We have free physicals for our high school athletes going on today in the gym area, so they can be ready to go for fall sports. Free of charge for our families and our
Well,
students.
that is wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon. Two things I want to talk about. I've been warning you about last time I talked to you. So let's read the South Carolina Legislative General Assembly and the governor have private or charter schools with enrollment from 9 through 12, less than 200 students, if they live in your attendance zone, if they don't offer that sport, they can participate here. So you wanna know what that means? No disrespect to Dorchester County. They have less than 200 kids from 9 through 12. They don't offer a sport. I don't know, just say like wrestling or, yes. Well, they have to write a letter to the superintendent. Superintendent has to write back to them. And we got to afford them the same opportunity who would anybody homeschool or a charter school student. All right? That's the big part of that.
Well, Coach, can I ask you a question about that? Is there a time limit on that? Because, I mean, you're outfitting your students now with equipment. Is there a time limit to give y'all time that if that student happened to pop up here a week or two before, no time limit?
So we got to treat them just like they're a student here.
Well, I understand
So,
that.
Ms. Mims, she coached basketball. Ms. Mims had girls basketball practice in this November. 15 students show up to trial in November. All 15 of them make the team. It's on way we're in it. Tricky part, okay, just be honest with you. Don't know how we're gonna do it, don't know the legal stuff about it, need to check with the lawyer. I wonder, question the superintendent, about the insurance fees. They're not fully our student. I know legislators pass laws all the time until you figure it out. Don't know how that's gonna work, but we actually doing some research on that right now.
And Mr. Beckwith, we may want to talk to attorney about a policy ahead of time.
Oh, yeah, we talked about it today. We have student insurance, secondary insurance for our students here within the district. So anything after the primary insurance, it's picked up by that secondary insurance. We just need to find out, we have to call the company, just find out what the coverage looks like for those families. And what's the legal responsibility of the
Okay.
district to cover that for
Okay.
those students. So we'll take care of that.
Sure.
We, it says in this, once we plaza, cannot discriminate any kind of way, so we can't like hold trial states without them knowing, everything got to be tricky. All right, the second thing I told you about, to be honest with you, I told you I quit if they pass it. NIL, so, what the state legislature passed was, Coach Sauer, DD4, don't own the kid, parent own the kid. But on the high school league rules, state legislature, you can't pay, play, or pay. So what that says is, any kid that wanna go out here and get sponsorship, create their own brand, they can do that. But they can't use no footage, game footage from the school. They can't use the school logo, the school colors, or anything pertaining to a school district. Also, you must be aware of any outside teams that are playing. To give you an example, if Coach Wolfgang, you got a club soccer team. The soccer team is being sponsored by, let's say, the Giant Seaweed Plant. Giant Seaweed Plant is only sponsored the team of the one player and promote that player in photo shoots. That kid, he or she receives his money. It states in this proviso, Article 6, Article 3, Section 6, and Article 6, Section 14, that they can jeopardize their eligibility for high school and college.
Okay.
So we have to be aware. I know sometimes parents don't want you in their business a little bit. I don't mind kids, or I actually support kids playing outside teams, but we just gonna have to know a little information. Like, that they're not playing with, playing for pay. This came out July 10th, and they already found out they had, the reason it came out, because they found out they had 6 situations where kids were getting paid to play for a certain team. So,
Wow.
give you an example. If Principal, Mr. White, has a daughter, somebody said, Mr. White, we're gonna pay you $2,500 for your team to play with the Devil dogs, she's a no. I mean, and the proviso, I mean, it is, I can leave a copy of this, I think you have it. Commissioner Singer said they will do an investigation. They don't look and see. Two things I think I've been talking about for y'all. One of them came true, the other one glad didn't come true. It came true in their own way for the kid. I'm not against NIL. Kids go out here, promote themselves, promote their brand. But I got my own beliefs on the type of that. But on high school league rules, you must follow it. Now, as far as the proviso to that bill, I want to be real clear. That's not a rule. That's just the law. Rules you get fined for, all get put you in jail.
Right.
Let's be clear, like, this ain't nothing that we can decide to do or not. This is something we got. Any questions?
Well, Coach, if they're caught getting paid to play, that makes them ineligible to play at Woodland
That makes it anywhere.
anywhere. Okay.
In the state of South
In-
Carolina.
in school,
So, let me
okay.
give you an example what really could happen. All right? Cam Pringle just left. All right? Say Pringle potato chip offered him $500,000. He might have been in South Carolina. He could have moved to Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, and been eligible.
Oh,
Their states allow.
I see. Well, we knew you were only kidding when you said you were going to leave, because, you know,
I mean, I just
you
think
can't leave us, we know that.
I just think
But it's going to be tough to keep up with. I'm sure it's going to be
I
tough.
mean, because we don't know what tournament a kid is playing in.
Yeah.
Don't know if they get enough money for their tournament.
Yeah.
We don't know. And it's hard to keep up with.
It
There's
would
a
be-
million tournaments going on, so.
It sure is.
We good?
We're good.
All right, I have no.
Thank you for the information.
Stay on top of it.
Thanks,
Yes.
Coach. You know, it's tough for a student, a young man or young lady to have money dangled in front of them and not be tempted to go after it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's going to be a challenge, and as we all know, people work really hard to try to figure out how to circumvent rules. And that's what Coach was talking about, these NIL clubs that are happening and popping up in South Carolina where they try to circumvent the process and be a little sneaky, and not just does it impact eligibility for that athlete, but it could also impact eligibility for the entire team. And so it could impact one person, it could impact the full team, and we certainly don't want that. And you know, as small as we are out here at Woodland High School, our programs are watched closely. We've made a great name for ourselves between the athletics and the band side of things. Our students go places because of those programs. And so people watch, and people are always monitoring what happens at Woodland High School, and we just have to be really mindful of what our boys and girls are doing. And I know those conversations will be had with our student athletes as we move forward, but it's going to be a challenge for us. Next thing we have, Kelly Services update. Kelly Services has been working hard. Dr. Sanders has been working hard. They sent a lot of emails and request a lot of information, without a doubt, from finance and from HR. We've had 13 of our folks that were substitutes before who have transitioned into Kelly Services. Kelly Services came in, they worked hand in hand with those folks, and then we brought on 20 new substitutes just in the last couple of weeks. So 33 people, and the goal is to get up to 50, so we are well above where we were.
Yeah.
And we tweaked some things, just I don't want to say incentivize, but just to better fill some of our long-term vacancies where we have teachers out for maternity leaves, health reasons, and be able to try to put certified folks into those classrooms. In next week, I believe next week, our principals and our administrative assistants in our buildings will be meeting with Kelly Services to go over the platform that we'll be using for substitutes to report to. That really kind of operates the entire system. So looking forward to getting that going. Woodland Middle School update, you heard MB Khan was discussing some of those things. We're going to talk a little bit more about it in executive session. But what's important is our students and LZ, Coach Harrison has really been working great. Mr. Martin's done a lot of organizing between the different schools. The principals have been working diligently. Each day, you see the trailers and the U-Haul trucks going back and forth down 78. And Harleyville is close to 100% moved out, and St. George Middle School, my understanding is about 75% moved out, is my understanding. So behind the scenes, they've been making that happen, and the young men and women have been doing a great job, and they'll probably get rehired next year for the job that they're doing this year. But that's not just them. Our folks that are working with technology department have been doing a great job, the students with them, and then our food service, which wraps up next week, have been doing an outstanding job as well. So great appreciation for the job they're doing. They've been consistent, they've been reliable, everything we could ask for.
Right.
And then hopefully, you heard the update, hopefully we get in there next week and be fully moved in next week. One of the things I want to talk to you, I've talked to a couple of you about this, is contracted custodial service. This was something that's been looked at for years, just like Kelly Services. We actually pulled paperwork, Mr. Martin found paperwork from about exactly 10 years ago, looking into this because of the challenges we have with getting custodial workers in our schools and keeping our custodial workers. And right now, we're about half staffed in that area. And this has nothing to do with getting rid of our folks that we have. We will consolidate our folks and fully staff some of our schools. And then this contractual program, these folks would come in and take care of the other schools that don't have our local workers in the building. That's a work in progress. We have, we've advertised in the Eagle Record. It should be out this week, Thursday, I think. It was supposed to be out last week. There's a little slip up there. So if you see that, that has nothing to do with replacing anybody in this district. Those folks will just continue to work in our buildings. We just want to make sure we have fully staffed schools to keep our buildings clean, because our staff deserve it, our students certainly deserve it. And, you know, how something looks can really determine how somebody acts and how somebody feels about a place.
Right.
And we have great facilities. There's a lot of work that goes in keeping them up, and we want to make sure the maintenance, the daily maintenance, stays up to par with that. Any questions about that?
No.
We'll continue to work with folks. Just an initial cost, and now an initial proposal that we got from one company came in about where it would be to fully staff our schools with our own people. So the pricing would be about the same price point. The supervision looks a little bit different, and having worked with companies like that, there is a reliability that would be really helpful in our buildings. But we'll see. We'll continue to work on that. But it has nothing to do with what our folks that we have. Our folks that we currently have been as dedicated as any other group of employees in this district. They do a great job. We just want to make sure we're fully staffed in those buildings. And once you all get into that middle school, you'll see that middle school is a big place,
It sure is.
just like this high school, and we have traffic in this building. It feels like sometimes 24 hours a day with traffic with our students and our programs going on. Just an update, August 2nd, I will email you the agenda, the program, but August 2nd, we will have our back-to-school program with our district. It'll be at Woodland Middle School as of this moment. It'll start at 9 o'clock in the morning, but we'll get the full program. It'll be in the morning. And then the afternoon, it's going to be, that first week back for our teachers and our administrators is going to be tight with training, getting their classrooms ready. So we're just going to do a half day and give them the second half of the day so they can get in their schools and do their work. The district for back to school bash, last year we did it in isolation. We had a great turnout. We had many hundreds of families come out. We gave them book bags, our students book bags, we gave them supplies. We had a great turnout. We had food there. The band came and performed, and they were outstanding. We had a ton of law enforcement there to support and help in any way. Well, this year we're just going to partner with law enforcement, and it's the night out event that the Dorchester County Sheriff's Department does. So we're going to partner with them. They're going to provide a lot of the food, the water, the drinks. Our schools will be out there doing the supplies again like they've done in the past. The entire night runs from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. It'll be at the park here in town in St. George, Davis Bailey Park. Our schools will have tents and they'll have their tables and giving away supplies. They will do that part from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So the event runs from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock, but the schools will be giving away items from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And we'll really start pushing that out here in the coming days. And then the last piece of information we have is we'll be moving to a new website company, a new platform. The name of the platform is Aptigee. We looked at them last year, Dr. Adams, Mr. DeLee, and myself, and impressed with the company. With some things happening, and a lot happening at that time, we decided to stick with our current provider. But what this company is going to allow us to do, this is a one-stop shop. So right now, we pay for a company that does our call-outs to the district, to families, to our staff. And then we have another company that does our website that we pay. And then we have to independently or in isolation do our social media feeds. This program does all of that in one program. So if we create an announcement to go out to families, it'll automatically go out to text messages, to social media, Facebook, or X, I think it's called now. Whatever social media platforms we use, it'll be put on our website. Same price, but it's just, instead of me, when we're trying to cancel school and I'm checking out schools and trying to call Mr. DeLee to have a call out made and trying to get in touch with the principal so they can get announcements out, we could just have one announcement and it'll just shoot out to everything. Just a lot easier.
Sounds great.
And so we're in the process of transitioning over, and right now we're looking at August for that rollout to occur. And
What did you call that company?
the name of the company is Aptigee.
Aptigee?
Aptigee, Aptegey.
Okay, thank you.
They work with a number of districts in South Carolina, and they're starting to try to target some of the smaller districts. They work with some of the bigger districts, but they're starting to target some of the smaller districts. Again, I met with them last year with Dr. Adams and Mr. DeLee. We were impressed with them then. A lot of things were just happening quickly, and we just didn't feel like it was a time to take it on. Mr. Lakin's done a lot of this footwork with this company to get things up and running. They run some of their programming goes through Apple software. So we're excited about it. We're excited to see the rollover into that company. So that'll be a shift that we make in August, around August. And that is all that I have for you all at this time.
Okay. Any questions, comments, or anything, board members? All right, well then we'll move forward. And next up, the board will go into executive session to discuss personnel report and legal matter. So at this time, we do need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Dr. Hodges?
Second?
Ms. Sinfinger. There is a motion to go into executive session made by Dr. Hodges, seconded by Ms. Sinfinger. All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. At this time, the board will go into executive session. And all of you are welcome to come back. If there's any action taken, we will vote in public if any action